Welcome, curious minds, to another deep dive. Today, we're really cutting through the noise to understand something truly fundamental for any organization trying to stand out. That's strategic communication and public image. And our guide for this exploration, it's an insightful article from CEO World Magazine by Fotis Pantopoulos.
That's right. And our mission today really is to move beyond the buzzwords. We want to truly unpack what strategic communication means in practice, how it's actually deployed. And crucially, its undeniable link to managing an organization's public image. We'll pull out the core methods and objectives from the source material, aiming to give you a clear, maybe even actionable understanding of this powerful tool.
Exactly. So if you've ever found yourself wondering how, say, major brands seem to just effortlessly shape what people think, or, how leaders make sure their most critical messages actually land, actually resonate, well, this deep dive is crafted just for you. So let's dig in. Let's explore this essential area.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's start with the basics. Lay our foundation. Our source defines strategic communication as the management of organizational communication to achieve specific objectives.
hmm
Now, for many of us, communication is just, sending a message out. What's the key difference here? What makes it strategic?
Well, that's a great question. What often gets missed, I think, even by people who do this for a living sometimes, is that strategic communication isn't just about what you're saying. It's fundamentally about why you're saying it. And, if that why isn't clearly tied back to some kind of outcome you want, well, you're basically just making noise. The article really hammers this point home. It shows how it's not just talking, it's intentional, it's outcome-driven influence. It boils it down to its essence, really. Getting your message across to others to achieve your desired outcome.
Ah, okay. That reframes it completely. It's not
Yeah.
just broadcasting. It's more like building a response or
Yeah.
aiming for one. So when the article mentions it includes the development and implementation of plans, programs, and activities to influence or change attitudes, beliefs, or behaviors.
Mm.
It's really talking about a deliberate attempt to shift something, right?
Precisely, yeah. That highlights the intensely proactive nature of it. It's
Mm.
not waiting for things to happen. The piece outlines several common methods, and well, they sound straightforward on paper, but they're surprisingly complex to get right in practice. Things like developing a clear and consistent message,
Right.
identifying your target audiences,
Right.
crafting detailed communication plans, then actually creating, managing, and importantly, monitoring those programs. And critically, assessing the results to see what worked, what didn't, and making changes.
It really does sound like a cycle. Always refining, always adapting based on feedback or results. And what's fascinating, like you said, is how adaptable it is. It's not just for one kind of organization. The article is really clear on this. This isn't just for, the Fortune 500s.
You're absolutely right. That's a key takeaway. It's a concept that applies just as much to any type of organization, whether for-profit, nonprofit, or government. It's almost like a universal blueprint for getting your message across effectively.
That makes it incredibly versatile then. It's a flexible tool that can be adapted to any situation or goal, just like the article puts it. So it's not just for the CEO or the comms department, but really any leader, any manager, no matter their scale.
hmm And this brings up an important question, maybe for you listening. If it's all about achieving these desired outcomes, what kind of outcomes are we actually talking about? Because it's not always about selling something. The article lists several common objectives, and they're pretty diverse. Things like influencing or changing attitudes and beliefs. That's a big one. Or maybe just increasing understanding, creating awareness about an issue or a product. Building relationships, strengthening foundations with stakeholders. That's huge for long-term success. Encouraging or motivating specific behaviors, like maybe getting people to recycle or vote or sign up for something. And sometimes it's simply about educating or informing.
So it's definitely broader than just direct persuasion or sales. It could be about sharing knowledge, fostering genuine connections, or even just building trust over the long haul, like
Yeah.
building bridges, you said, or just making sure people really understand what's happening.
Exactly. It's about managing meaning.
Okay, but
Yeah.
all this effort, right, this careful crafting of messages, identifying who you're talking to, setting these objectives, what's the ultimate prize here? The article points towards something really fundamental, an organization's public image. And this is where it gets, well, really interesting, and the stakes get incredibly high, because one wrong move, one bad tweet even, can sometimes unravel years of careful work. So how does the article define public image in this critical context?
Yeah, the stakes are high. It defines public image simply as the way the public sees and perceives a business. Think of it like a company's reputation, but it's viewed through maybe 1,000 different lenses simultaneously. It's what people hear, what they see, what their friends say, what they read online. And it can be positive or it can be negative. And it's influenced not just by what the business says,
Hmm.
that's important, but crucially by what it does, its actions, and even what others say about it. Media, customers, critics.
Wow. So it's this like swirling mix of communication, actual actions, and all that external commentary, a vortex almost. And why is this collective perception, this public image, so crucial? Why should any organization, big or small, really obsess over it?
Well, because it directly impacts the way customers and other stakeholders view the company. It's fundamental. A positive public image isn't just, a nice to have vanity metric. It actively cultivates trust and confidence. That can lead to stronger customer loyalty, better employee morale, maybe even attracting investors more easily. Conversely, a negative image, well, it can really damage the reputation, drive away talent, erode customer trust, impact sales. The article really emphasizes that strategic communication is the process by which organizations manage and control their public image. It's like the umbrella term covering everything. Advertising, yes, but also media relations, crisis management, investor relations, even internal communication to employees. It all feeds into it.
Right. So to build and keep that positive reputation, organizations aren't just like shouting messages into the void. They first need to really understand, maybe through research or listening, what the public already thinks of them. Get a baseline. Then, like the article says, develop a clear and consistent message that is in line with their goals and values. And communicate that message across all channels, including traditional and new media. That consistency across every single touch point must be key.
Absolutely. Consistency is paramount. And crucially, the source also flags the need to be ready for when things inevitably go wrong. Organizations need to have a plan in place for how to handle crisis situations.
Right, the crisis comms plan.
Exactly. And it's not just about having a press release drafted. It's about ensuring a clear, concise, and timely message, knowing how to deliver it, through which channels are most appropriate for that situation. This proactive planning makes strategic communication not just a tool, but arguably, as the source puts it, the most important tool for improving and, importantly, safeguarding that public image.
Okay, that makes perfect sense. It's both building and defending.
Precisely. Now let's think about the tangible consequences, the real-world impact. The article stresses quite clearly that a company's public image can have a significant impact on its bottom line.
It really does bring it back to that, doesn't it? The bottom line. Good PR, positive publicity can absolutely generate new customers, help keep the ones you have. While negative publicity, a scandal, a poorly handled crisis, it can drive customers away faster than you can say product recall.
So for organizations listening, wanting to actively, polish their image or protect it, what are some actionable strategies the source suggests? It offers several concrete methods, and they're often about the fundamentals, things that maybe seem obvious, but are hard to do consistently well. First, like we touched on, ensuring all communications are consistent and reflect the desired image. And that's not just the big marketing campaigns, it's everything from the website's tone and look to how an employee answers the phone or responds to an email.
Every touch point.
Every single one. Second, getting genuinely involved in charitable activities, community initiatives. This shows the organization cares about more than just making money. It builds that crucial goodwill, that social license to operate. And third, being incredibly responsive, especially to negative feedback or publicity.
Oh, yeah. Don't ignore the critics.
Right. Address complaints quickly, effectively. Take ownership if you messed up. And crucially, show what concrete steps you're taking to prevent it from happening again. It's about demonstrating humility and a real commitment to improvement.
It really does seem to come back to this blend of consistency, transparency, and, well, genuine effort. You can't fake it for long. The source sums it up quite eloquently, actually. Strategic communication is the management function responsible for helping an organization create and maintain a favorable public image. And it influences how stakeholders, customers, employees, everyone think, feel, and behave toward an organization and its products or services. It truly integrates all forms of communication, doesn't it? From the messages inside the company to all the external stuff like marketing and PR.
It really does. It's holistic.
Wow. What a deep dive into this deliberate, sometimes intricate art of communication. We've really seen how strategic communication is, well, far more than just sending out messages. It's a core management function. It's designed to hit specific objectives, build strong relationships, and critically, sculpt an organization's public image, sometimes from the ground up.
Indeed. And by Meticulously crafting and managing that message, organizations aren't just talking at people. They're actively trying to control how they're perceived by those people. And that perception directly impacts trust, confidence, and ultimately their long-term success and viability. It's the careful planning, the precise execution, integrating all these communication activities. That's what truly builds and maintains a positive and hopefully resilient reputation.
So thinking about this, what does it all mean for you listening?
Okay.
Perhaps now you'll see every brand interaction, every company statement you read, maybe even every community sponsorship through a slightly different lens. You might start wondering about the deliberate choices, the strategic intent behind the message you're receiving.
And maybe take it one step further. If strategic communication is fundamentally about achieving specific objectives, what hidden objectives might be influencing the messages you encounter every single day, in ads, in news, in politics? What deeper truths or maybe just different perspectives might you uncover if you start trying to identify them?